Welcome to the NFL's Inspire Change Special. As we come to the end of the regular season, we're shining a light on all the amazing work from the Inspire Change Initiative. Formed during the 2017 season, Inspire Change brings players, owners, and organizations together to create positive change in our communities. NFL Network's Patrick Claybon has more.
It's the question that defines our time. How do we create change? It's a question many NFL players have been asking through charity work, outreach, activism. The NFL family stepped up to help find an answer. During the 2017 season, the league formed a working group of 5 players and 5 club owners. Their mission? To help support the players' commitment to addressing social injustice across America. The result was Inspire Change, a sweeping social justice initiative that launched during the 2018 season. And since its inception, this program has showcased how players, teams, owners, and the league are working together to create positive change. Its focus? Education, economic advancement, police and community relations, and criminal justice reform. The Social Justice Working Group provides grants to organizations across the country. Since 2017, more than 40 nonprofits have received social justice grants, and beginning in 2018, all 32 NFL teams committed to ongoing collaboration with players to support local social justice organizations. Of course, those were just the first steps, important ones, but merely the beginning. The summer of 2020 changed all of us, including the NFL family. The murder of George Floyd and the brutality experienced by so many people of color sparked an extraordinary movement across America. That summer, the NFL and its clubs committed $250 million over 10 years to social justice causes. That financial commitment was surpassed in 2023, just 3 years after the commitment was made, and continues to grow with each passing year. But that pledge extends far beyond financial support. The NFL continues to prioritize social justice, including a commitment to year-round, Inspire Change storytelling from NFL media and on-field messaging in end zones, on goalposts, and via helmet decals. From profound storytelling to grants and policy changes, from listening to the community to telling their stories, Inspire Change is a collective effort that aims to answer the question we're all asking. Can we create a world that's equitable and just for everyone? The answer will define all of us.
For more on the Inspire Change Initiative, go to www.nfl.com/causes/inspire change. In 2017, Anquan Boldin and Malcolm Jenkins founded the Players Coalition, an advocacy group working to improve social justice and racial equality. 6 years after its inception, the coalition has spread to more than a dozen leagues and raised nearly $50 million in cumulative grants. And as task force member Doug Baldwin explains, its impact continues to grow.
No justice! No peace! No justice!
Players Coalition was a response to things that were happening in our society.
Stop police brutality! Stop police brutality! Stop police brutality! Hands up! Don't shoot!
You know, obviously Colin Kaepernick kind of sparked the conversation and put things to the forefront, but we collectively as a group of players wanted to do something actionable, and Players Coalition was the formation of that. My father was a law enforcement officer for 35 years. My mother, a social activist in her own right, was always a pillar of the community, worked at the Salvation Army. It's in my blood. What's up? It's Doug Baldwin, one of the greatest receivers you've ever seen.
Baldwin makes the catch, Doug Baldwin. He is money.
So I'm a task member, which basically means that we evaluate opportunities in the communities, specifically where we're at, but also in a more broader context, and looking at ways that we can plug in to either get policy changed, spark conversation to then enact conversations around policy, and then bring to light issues that are going on in our communities.
You know, it's the way that we police our citizens. It's the way that we deal with the war on drugs. It's the way that we treat our kids in in the school system.
When we look at the system, the police are the front line.
The typical question I get is, why do you care so much? Why do you get involved? What motivated you? What inspired you to have these conversations, to put yourself out there? And my answer to you and to the people who ask me that is, why not? The NFL has a rich history of players being activists and utilizing the platform that we get on this national stage to talk about things that are happening in the communities that we come from. We've been all over the country. To give you specific examples, we supported the Massachusetts Student Opportunity Act, which infused $1.4 billion into Massachusetts public schools.
That's how we've been educating ourselves, sitting down with grassroots organizations, learning about what they go through, being able to also support them, and that's our plan.
Shout out to Devin and Jason McCourty and Duron Harmon and Slate, the great Matthew Slater. They were key stakeholders in pushing that through. In Philadelphia, Malcolm Jenkins, Torrey Smith, Chris Long, they supported the Clean Slate Act.
That will automatically clear the record for anybody who's had a nonviolent misdemeanor and hadn't reoffended in 10 years. That's significant because 1 in 3 Americans over the age of 18 has some kind of arrest or criminal record.
Anquan, back in his hometown, effectively opened up early registration for folks to vote, increasing equity in voting in Pahokee.
We're starting to see results of that, and that's what we're here to do, to put pressure on elected officials, to give those that don't have a voice, we're here to give them a voice.
I've been blessed with an opportunity to work on the Pardons and Clemency Board here in the state of Washington. I supported I-940, which effectively reinvested into our law enforcement just to help them get the training that they need to be more effective out in the community. And we've done over 153 events, whether it's community forums, meeting with politicians. We've infused over $9 million of investment into our community. The Players Coalition is not always out in the public, not always out in the news, but we're making a difference in people's lives. The change that we're trying to make and the adjustments that we're pushing for advocacy, for policy, we're not going to measure it. We know the impact, and my grandchildren will benefit from it.
Coming up, a story near and dear to my heart. 49ers defensive lineman Eric Armstead fights for a level playing field for education in California. The NFL Inspire Change special continues after this.
When I think of Inspire Change, I think of the next person that my act can have an effect on. I think of small and big change and how they both go hand in hand and how it takes a collective group effort to really have impact and change in society.
Welcome back to the NFL's Inspire Change special. A zip code should not define student opportunity. That profound statement epitomizes the philosophy of 49ers four-time Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year nominee Eric Armstead. The Armstead Academic Project is dedicated to ensuring that every student, no matter their socioeconomic status, has direct access to the resources they need to thrive.
We come from a place where we get disrespected a lot because we're from the hood, and we just show that it doesn't matter that we're from the hood. We just show pride in where you're from.
When I think of Inspire Change, I think of small and big change and how they both go hand in hand. I think of the next person that my act can have an effect on. Hi. I'm Eric Armstead. I'm from Sacramento, California, so not too far from here. And I played for the San Francisco 49ers. I played defensive line, and I've been on the team for 9 years. The reason I'm here today is because I wanted to come here today and read with you guys. Love being from Sacramento. I feel like it's a great place to raise a family, and I take a lot of pride in being from there. There was different times in our family's lives where, financially our situation was different. We lived in different neighborhoods. We lived in middle-class neighborhoods. We lived in kind of low-income neighborhoods. And from an early age, I saw the disparities in our country and our education system.
Eric is known for tackling on Sundays. Go Niners. but he's using his talent to tackle even more profound issues.
I am a little bit different from Eric. I'm from a really, really small town, a lot of farmers. My mom's a teacher. My dad sold cars, and so family education was very important. I did my master's in med school, and I chose mental health because I just felt that's where people are stigmatized the most and where I felt like I could make the biggest difference. My brother has learning disabilities, and it was very difficult to see my mom, who was a teacher, struggle to get him the appropriate services. People told him he wasn't going to be able to read and told my mom he wasn't going to be able to work, and now he does all of those things.
Early in my life, I would say I was kind of a below average student. Reading was where I especially struggled, and I felt like that foundation of struggling with reading kind of led into other subjects as well.
Middle school and high school was very important. I was getting recruited by the University of Notre Dame for football. And I'm on campus and they're like, you got a D+ in 7th grade in science? What was that about?
When we moved to Elk Grove, I felt there was a shift in the diversity, and so I also experienced, being looked down upon by some of my teachers and, not all the way fitting in, really. I had different experiences with the teachers being surprised that I was actually articulate and smart. I remember when I was in high school my freshman year, a teacher told me that I would be working for my classmates one day. Those type of situations didn't make me feel good, but I had an amazing support system.
Our nonprofit brings a lot of that to the forefront of my mind, of how many of my kids that I'm seeing are having these reading struggles because of their mental health, and how can we help?
Thank you so much for my education.
No problem,
There's a lot
man.
of kids around this world that don't have any Chromebooks.
Yeah.
The Armstead Academic Project started in 2019. I wanted to even the playing field for disadvantaged youth who have constantly been told that they don't matter and their education is not important. Story time with Eric started in 2020. We focus on literacy with our young elementary school students. Really, it was all about how do I keep kids engaged in school and excited about reading. We understand the importance of them reading at grade level by 3rd grade. And if they're not reading at grade level, the percentages show that they won't be successful later in life and in education. So I had the idea of, maybe I could pique a kid's interest in reading if I read with them.
And laugh with my friends. I still think it was awfully nice to slouch on the couch. The end.
The best part of all of this is seeing them light up and just their whole demeanor change, because having someone you look up to take the time out of their schedule to come and see you, to come to your classroom, that's saying like, hey, I matter.
When I was a kid growing up, in my remedial reading classes, I never thought that I would be one day reading to students who were just like me.
So, who wants to tell me what the book was about?
I think it was about helping other people. It's not just about being cool, and you can be cool just by being kind.
Kind acts go a very far way. Me smiling at someone can brighten up their day and put a smile on their face.
Sometimes I struggle with words, and when he was reading it, I kind of feel better when I'm reading.
To me, Inspired Change is all about possibility, working with the Armstead Academic Project and seeing the statistics and actually being able to meet some of the kids. I think it's very fulfilling, but it also opens your eyes to the disparity and inspires more desire to have an impact.
It's not easy balancing, our careers, our organization, our kids, and all these things, but I think it's all worth it. I want to inspire the next generation of people to be the change they want to see in our world. We love doing what we're doing and are doing it together.
Next, Bears All-Pro Kevan Johnson turns tragedy into inspiration, changing lives in honor of his best friend.
Honestly, I feel like we're doing what we set out to do. It's just about continuing to let his soul, let his spirit still walk this earth.
Straight ahead on the NFL's Inspire Change special. Welcome back to the NFL's Inspire Change Special. Kevy's Vision is a nonprofit organization founded by Bears Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award nominee Kevan Johnson. The organization honors Johnson's best friend, who was a pillar in the Fresno community before tragedy changed everything.
Fresno's a tough place. It can go two ways. You can either go about your business and take full advantage of the opportunities that you have, or you can get caught up in, I would say, the drugs, the crime, the gang banging and things like that. For me and some of my friends, that we just wanted to really just stay focused and to not fall victim to what was going on around us.
Kevan and Jalen met in elementary school. I believe they were playing against each other. Then they came together and played together once they got to Central. And when they got together at Central, they were locked in.
He was the kid that had a deep voice in 5th, 6th grade and super athletic, 8-pack and big arms and legs. We were just like, damn, you just like a man child out here. And then just, of course, through sports, as we got older, we grew closer together.
They used to call themselves the Little Boys, and they was just a group of friends who grew up together, and they started as my students, but over time, we became family.
He was different. Like, he always was like, man, like, I don't want to go to the NFL. Like, I want to start my own thing. Like, I want to have my own clothing brand. He had a very giving soul, and he wanted to show that love for the community. And he was talking about, yeah, bro, I want to start my LLC. I want to open up this. I want to donate to hospitals. And I'm like, yeah, bro, like, let me help you out. Like, you got a vision, and let's come up with it together. I went back and I went to those text messages and looked at all the different things he wanted to do for the community. I'm like, we have the blueprint right here. The things that we're doing are the things that he wanted to do. So we're just truly trying to execute Kevy's vision. And that's the name of our nonprofit.
He had been out at a fundraiser, like a foundation thing for his best friend's father. I'm texting with him. I'm talking to him like we're making plans. As I look back on his phone records, I see where he was being called a lot, and his friend was calling him. So he went to where his friend was at near the Fresno State. It was a party. Kevan gets there, friend leaves him. Friend had an altercation with somebody there, and they shot Kevan. One of the boys from his Pop Warner team was actually at that party and applied pressure to one of the gunshots and was screaming and begging for help. They left my baby on the ground. I immediately run to the hospital. When I get up there, they walked me around the back part of the hospital, put me in a little room by myself, and the doctor and a nurse and the social worker came in there and says, Kev didn't make it.
Jalen calls me one evening and he says, I want to start something in Kev's name. So we start talking about what that looks like, and we just start kind of vibing and bouncing ideas off each other. And so from there, like, we kind of came almost like the CEO of Kevy's Vision.
With Kevy's Vision, we're able to do things that Kevy did. Kevy would pop up a table with his friends and they went down and fed the homeless. We're doing that. My favorite is Kevy's Vision Winter Wonderland. Mom, dad, kids, everybody gets a gift. Everybody gets something to eat. Everybody gets groceries to take home. It was wonderful. I could not do this today and be able to speak so openly without having that type of foundation.
I think we get so caught up in the physical body and just, we want to be able to touch and feel somebody. But I know if he was still here, I don't think we would be able to impact hundreds and hundreds of kids and hundreds of families. So I'm just honored that I can be able to honor him and continue to bless families that need it.
When we return, Money Talks, as Colts linebacker Zier Franklin helps students in his hometown develop financial literacy.
Inspire Change to me is just to inspire the next generation of leaders, inspire the next generation of community movers, and continue to leave places better than you found them.
That's next on the NFL's Inspire Change Special. Welcome back to the NFL's Inspire Change Special. Since 2017, the NFL's Inspire Change Social Justice Initiative has been focused on reducing barriers to opportunity, particularly in communities of color, and showcasing how the NFL family is working together to create positive change. And while that all looks great on paper, it might be hard to understand the many ways Inspire Change is making an impact across the country. MJ Acosta Ruiz is here to help break it all down.
$300 million. That's how much the NFL, its teams, and ownership have donated to social justice causes since 2017, surpassing the goal of $250 million they set just a few years ago. You might be thinking, that's great, but how is that money actually impacting communities across America? Good question. Here's the answer. First, that money is divided into three main categories: league-issued social justice grants, team contributions, and NFL Foundation matching grants. Let's start with the social justice grants. Each year, the NFL issues these grants to nonprofits, picked by a joint player-owner social justice working group. More than 40 organizations have received these grants so far, including groups like Peace for DC, Get Schooled, Choose 180, and Year Up. The NFL also works with the Players Coalition, an independent nonprofit organization of athletes fighting for social justice and racial equality. The total of these grants? Nearly $55 million. Next up, team contributions. The NFL's 32 franchises support change-driven nonprofits in their own backyards. These donations come from club owners, team foundations, and special player team matching funds. The tally on these contributions, nearly $250 million. That brings us to NFL Foundation matching grants. The NFL Foundation offers matching grants to current and former players and teams. The grants have funded organizations that support education, fight poverty, push for criminal justice reform, support better police and community relations, contribute to economic development, and advocate for racial equality. The number on those grants, more than $10 million. Now you know where the money is going. But these are more than just organizations. These are men, women, and children being positively impacted every day. These contributions help provide mentors, closing the opportunity divide in the workplace, changing pretrial detention policies, facilitating safer communities, chipping away at racism and inequality, changing lives on a real day-to-day basis. We have a long way to go, but with players leading the way and the league supporting them, we're making major strides in the right direction. Let's keep that drive going.
For more information on how funds donated to the Inspire Change initiative are spent, visit www.nfl.com/causes/inspirechange. Colts linebacker Zier Franklin is dedicated to making an impact in his hometown of Philadelphia. Through the charitable organization named after his late mother, Shalise, Zier works to support young women in their efforts to achieve financial literacy and professional growth. One of the many reasons he's earned his team's nomination for the 2023 Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award.
Where I'm from, they really appreciate you like you're a part of their family, and if something's happening, they'll be there for you.
It's really about the community. We're all about that. Like we always have each other's back.
Where I'm from, there's really nice and respectful people, and every holiday they will get you something or they will give you a gift as a token of respect.
Everybody on the block, they knew each other. We'll go outside, go to the park, and have fun.
You can walk down the street, and the pizza guy, if he sees you, he'll look out for you.
It's a place where people do love one another. They're passionate about their sports. We love food here, culture, cuisine. It's a place where people are strong, people have grit and determination. There's some aspects about it where people are sad, where they're downtrodden, but moreover, it is a place where people love Philly.
It means something to be from Philly. You want to represent Philly in the right way, knowing that, that's on your back. I've grew up in the same places. I walked the same streets. I did the same things. I feel like every time I'm doing something I'm putting on for Philly, I'm doing it for them.
Zier Franklin, Conwell Middle School.
Sometimes you just need people that actually know the school, know the community, like Zier does, and someone who's saying, you know what, I'm going to put my money, I'm going to put my value on something that I know is going to make a difference.
I heard about Shalisa's Angel from Ms. Green, and she told me that Shalisa's Angel was a program for girls. I wanted to join because I thought I could try something new, and it would be a sparring, and I heard that Zier Franklin was respectful and nice.
I have been a part of the business academy. When I first went, I thought like I didn't know nobody, the kids was gonna be weird because I'm antisocial. I don't really like being around people, but yeah. But when I got there, I boosted my confidence and I was talking to people. Everybody was nice. It made me feel happy, and that we got people coming down to Kensington helping us plan what we want to do when we get older.
We get to see how people work so hard to get where they are today, and that there's always going to be bumps, and you just gotta go past that. Like, try your hardest, don't give up.
Shalice's Angels is a non-profit organization that focuses on young women from tough areas and impoverished communities with the main goal to just give them opportunities and experiences that they may not have the opportunity to experience in any other way. Whether that's group trip to Google headquarters in New York City or meeting the front office of the 76ers. I'm trying to get the young women to see other women professionals that look like them, that are from similar places that they are. Because if you can see it, you can believe it. Just expands your mind, expands your possibility, it gives you hope.
Seeing other women like do such good stuff and do what they do so good, it inspires me to be one of those women. If they can do it, that makes me feel like I can do it.
I've gone to the Google trip where he took us to New York to go to Google headquarters, and you see what their work environment is to see if that might be an interest to you. I was so happy. Like, you would never say to someone, oh, I went to Google.
Everybody can be exposed to something, but that's it, it's exposure. Trips like what Zier presents through the Shalice's Angels organization really allows for that. They know that there's opportunities and options.
I wanted giving back to be the first thing that I did once I got to the league. I thought, it would be important for me to kind of create an entity to celebrate my late mother, honor my late grandmother, two women who were just instrumental in my success in my life and my vision and my journey. I lost my mother and my grandmother when I was 16. I immediately went from a house of 3 to almost living by myself. From there, it was on me to kind of learn the tools to be able to survive. As professional athletes, I think it's easy for us to host a football camp. It's easy for us to, go into the sports teams and motivate them and inspire them because just our presence is an inspiration to those guys. And sometimes the young women are the group that's the most overlooked. Myself being raised by women, man, it was just important for me to give back to them.
I am from Kensington part of Philadelphia, born and raised. In a way, you're beating the odds. I'm proud because I'm not going to be one of the people on the streets just slumped over. I'm proud that I can say I beat Kensington in a way.
Right here in the heart of Kensington, there's an open air drug market that's going on, and our kids walk through it every day. They see folks that are struggling with addiction, but yet my young people are resilient. People here, they're a part of a community, and they love this community, and it's been overshadowed as a result of what's going on with the drug addiction. We had almost 800 students, and as a result of the crime, it's a direct correlation that I now have 120 students. And we've been flexible. We're very empathetic to the folks that are struggling with addiction, but we really need to be mindful that we need to preserve children, and someone needs to advocate for them. And I am that advocate.
Erica Green, she does an amazing job helping those young women. We took a little bit of a financial literacy turn and just started to teach the kids what it means to run a business, what it means to be a business owner.
The message of financial literacy is so important. Everybody needs to know how to manage money.
That is something that I feel like as a people continues to put us behind the 8 ball. When you finally get some money and then you use it to pay all your bills off, just to get more bills the next month. That someone who was on welfare, I understand exactly what that's like.
The Business Academy for Shalice's Angels, it's a 2-day program. And it's nice because middle schoolers across the city get to participate in the Business Academy.
We always have 3 business owners from the community come in and speak about the challenges of running a business.
We was working on a business cafe. We had to get the things we needed, like the chairs, the coffee machine. So we had to count and bounce the money. I came in second place, but it's cool down.
As I got older and I was going to college, Financial literacy was something that I had to learn to myself the hard way, whether that was gas, whether that was getting Chipotle with my teammates. I always thought, if I could give back and teach some of the young kids some of the tools that I had to learn, and maybe if I could just give you a helping hand and give you these lessons in a better way, maybe you'll have an easier path than I did.
I would like to encourage other young ladies, no matter how much a person say you can't do something, or no matter how much you doubt yourself, that you can always do it. Like my mom always says, when life gives you lemons, you just take them.
In certain fields, you don't see a lot of women, especially you guys think coding, engineering. But nowadays, because the opportunities certain organizations give, like Solutions Angels, it gives women more power in the long run to do stuff they want to do.
Time and energy, those are things that we can't get back. To give that and donate that and spend my time and my love and my smiles and my energy to people and to the community, to me, that's the biggest sacrifice that I could give. And, my mom and my grandmother always taught me to, leave a place better than you found it. For me, whether it's, Indianapolis, whether it's Syracuse or Philadelphia, I just always wanted to positively impact the communities that I was a part of.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Solutions Angels.
Mwah.
Coming up next, a history-rich Jacksonville community writes the next chapter of its powerful legacy. Still ahead on the NFL's Inspire Change special.
To represent my city and to get people to love my city the way I do and to see the good in it, those are the things that I love about it. Those are the things that sport does.
Welcome back to the NFL's Inspire Change special. The Out East District is the last historical African-American community in Jacksonville that has not been displaced by gentrification. Its vibrant history and importance to the city's civil rights legacy formed the basis of this story about outreach, connection, and impact, with the Jaguars social responsibility team engaging in the community's present and future.
We don't have another day, another time, another place.
When we think about the things that make community and makes communities thrive,
It's gotta be now.
a lot of it is acknowledging their history and being proud of it.
We had hundreds of different businesses here. This was the Black Mecca.
If we ever wanna change, it's gotta be now.
For those of you who've never heard of the 1960 sit-ins, who don't know anything about Accent on Saturday, when blacks and those of us sitting in were attacked by 200 whites with axe handles and baseball bats in downtown Jacksonville.
It's gotta be now.
Being a Jacksonville girl, I feel like we don't, as a city, do a very good job of telling our own story. Out East is the last African-American community in Jacksonville that has not been displaced by gentrification. However, this community has also not seen any major infrastructure investment in almost 60 years. This is the corridor that our fans have to drive through on game day. If you don't have a thriving Out East community, we don't have a thriving Jacksonville.
I am Suzanne Pickett. Welcome Out East. This East Side is special to me because I grew up here in the neighborhood. I am the president of Historic East Side CDC and the board vice chair of Lift Jacks. I am the housing director for the Jacksonville Urban League. I am a mother, I'm an activist, I am a visual artist. I'm a lot of things. The murals and the enhancement of our commercial corridor is extremely important because we are losing our culture. Cultural gentrification precedes gentrification. I've had a lot of comments that when people drive down A Phillip Randolph corridor that they can't tell that there are businesses here. So from an investor standpoint, from my experience, it's been sort of a free-for-all. But we invite those developers into the community to come partner with us.
I'm partnering with Lift Jacks. So they work in the east side right here, out east. It's a cool initiative trying to revitalize the community.
Our mission is to eradicate generational poverty in Jacksonville. At first, we were a group of outsiders that came in and we thought that Out East would be a great place to work for a couple reasons. One, really strong community leadership, and then momentum around the neighborhood, all the investment. We thought there was an opportunity to bring that into the neighborhood in a way that would benefit community leaders. When we approached community leaders to ask them, would you like to partner back with us? The short answer was, we don't trust you. We've seen a bunch of folks come in, create a plan, probably pay some consultants a bunch of money, and it sits on the shelf and we're left with empty promises.
When you're working with a community that has historically been overlooked, there is a level of trust that you have to begin to gain. Historic neighborhoods come with a designation, which not only allows the community to be proud of its history, but it also opens the door for state and federal funding. The team in 2020 made a $1 million donation to Lift Jacksonville that went into a couple of key areas, one being the rebuilding of Deb's grocery store.
The Deb's store has been in the East Side for 100 years. It's been closed for 10 years. The energy and the support that that store brought to the community, we want to bring that back into the neighborhood.
Deb's store is one of our first major projects. So what we're going to be doing is restoring that existing structure. It's going to be preserved in a historical fashion, and we're building on a building right next to it too. The bottom floor is going to be access to healthy foods, and the top floor is going to be financial services and workforce development. And so we've really worked with the community to understand a series of priorities that are important to them, and then bring it back at that historic location.
Welcome to the Melanin Market, everybody!
Melanin Market is one of the marquee markets that we have each quarter. We will have about 200 vendors presenting everything from custom shoes to jewelry to food, live music, art. It's just a day of family fun on the Ave.
It started based off of an organization that came into our community to bring a marketplace to support small businesses in this community. And when they came, they didn't include our businesses. So myself and my co-founder, Angie Nixon, we sat on this very bench and said, we need to do something about that. So we called up friends that we knew all over town and set up along this corridor on the sidewalk. And we had more attendees at our little makeshift market than they did at theirs. This was the place where Black people came and supported one another in business. We had hundreds of different businesses here on this corridor. So now that all the development is happening blocks away from us and people are really trying to get in and be a part of the land of milk and honey. We love our relationship with the Jaguars. They're very supportive. Like right now we have a mural project that's going on that the Jaguars are helping support. They're very big supporters of the Melanin Market. They're always out here each time that we're having events, and they're a part of our revitalization projects that we have as well.
The Jaguars have been really great in our efforts. They partner almost in every aspect of our work. In healthcare, community wellness, long-term economic vitality, education, and of course, arts and culture.
The part about being from my city and to be able to serve my city in this way has, I'm about to cry. When I get to walk back into my high school, or I get to walk into neighborhoods like out east that really do look a lot like the neighborhood that I grew up in, and I get to use the power of the NFL and I get to use the power of the Jags to represent my city and to get people to love my city the way I do and to see the good in it. Those are the things that I love about it. Those are the things that sport does.
It was in the plan, the 20-year plan was to tear it all down. And we're going to build from this foundation and make it a better community.
My visions for out east is their kids have safe parks to play in, that they have homes that they can pass down to the next generation, that they have access to healthy foods and healthcare systems. They have transportation that they can get around to the places in our city that they want to get to, that they feel safe going home in the evenings. A good neighbor is that one that you can knock on the door and like borrow a cup of sugar, or that neighbor is the one that looks out for you. And as an organization, as a team, we want to be their favorite neighbor.
When the NFL's Inspire Change Special returns, a youth football program in Watts leaves a lasting mark far beyond the field.
You know, Inspire Change starts with ownership, consistency, and being willing to be the voice that's needed in the moment.
We'll be back after this. Welcome back to the NFL's Inspire Change special. Even before the Rams returned to Los Angeles, football played a major factor in combating several divides in the city. A co-ed youth football program was formed in 2013 as a bridge between the LAPD and the community of Watts. And this past year, they honored the 10-year milestone with a game that serves as a powerful expression of their enduring impact and expansion since being recently adopted by the LA Rams.
Whose house? I'm sorry, whose house?
It's hell, but like Kevin, we producing all these angels. Gotta watch your back, but eyes ain't getting every ankle. Grip up on the game, man, I'm really trying to strangle. The streets got a jaw, it's too many getting mangled.
Today at the Inspire Change Bowl, the vision was always to bring together South LA and East LA through the Watts Rams and the Lincoln Rams and bring them on the field to have that camaraderie and that companionship, and for the Los Angeles Rams to be present supporting both of our programs.
When you go to that game and you see a African-American team and a Latino team not just playing against each other, but at the end, they're dapping each other up, right? You grow up with this historic perspective and philosophy that he doesn't look like me, I can't talk to him. He doesn't come from where I come from, we have nothing in common. But yet to create this space and this environment to have some crucial conversations to talk about and highlight the commonalities, that's the beauty of the Watts and Lincoln Rams.
There were riots that happened in high school, black and brown riots, and you had to either be on one side or the other, and you had to protect yourselves to get out of those riots. But my best friend was a Hispanic dude that lived across the street who we walked to and from school together. And I remember having to walk in those riots with my best friend and my back to his and his back to mine to get out of there and shield each other from being hit.
In the community of Watts, there's been so much change as it relates to the makeup of the community. In the 80s and 90s, the public housing developments in Watts were predominantly black. Now, the public housing developments are predominantly Latino. Oftentimes there's conflict because they don't understand one another. Or when resources come in, someone's worried about the black folks getting more than the brown folks, and it causes this divide.
I was once told by a good friend that Watts stands for, we are taught to survive. And I think that speaks to the challenges of Watts, but also the resiliency of Watts.
My favorite part about playing with the Watts Rams is like the environment is like all my friends is so like joyful, nice.
In 2013, we had police officers assigned to our Community Safety Partnership program, where we placed officers in some of the violent parts of the Watts community. And one of our officers said, let's create a football team. Let's get kids from the different parts of Watts to come together and play on one team like a family.
All the players give out they loved me and all that ever since I joined. It's just like they really family to me. Like I ain't never felt this way like playing football.
It feels good. Feels like I'm at home. Just another one.
In talking with Chief T, we knew there was something special about this youth football program that was bridging the divide between communities of color and law enforcement. And really the vision all along has been to expand, and she brought Lincoln Heights to my attention.
My name is Joe Quesada. I've been in law enforcement now for close to 30 years. I was born in Boyle Heights and I was raised in South LA. I work in the community of Boyle Heights and Lincoln Heights, predominantly Hispanic. A lot of rich history in the community, high schools that have been there over 100 years. So there's a lot of pride. It's a great place, it's a great community. When I first got assigned to the Community Safety Partnership, the recruitment of gang members was growing immensely. I started looking at what age they were recruiting, which is as young as 13. Football helped me, that's what I knew. So what better way to run interference than being consistently there, building those bridges and developing those relationships with these kids and with their families, especially when the kids have buy-in on the sport. Families tend to follow shortly thereafter. We were the Lincoln Heights Tigers before, and we should have been called the Bad News Bears. It was just quite challenging every season. So when the Rams came along, it was just a sigh of relief.
I learned mainly everything I know about football. I came here like not knowing how to play football, but they taught me everything.
and yeah, they just teach me like the right way.
They just help me in a lot of stuff. Like they help my mom and stuff with a lot of stuff. They take us places, and I just like playing here.
There is transformational power in the game of football that goes well beyond the wins and losses. These kids have also been exposed to leaders like Mark May, who has made youth development in our inner city his life's work. And today, on behalf of the Rams, I am honored to surprise Mark as this year's Los Angeles Rams Inspired change maker.
Sports is just a little thing we dangle in front of them to say, hey, come here, right? But it's so much more other than sports. You know, our 5 pillars that we really hammer on is academics, service, life skills, support and safety is another, and health and wellness. We talk to them about violence in their community, violence in their family. We talk to them about etiquette. We focus on the whole child to make them better people.
An individual, right, that's African American, to be able to break the barriers with the Lincoln Rams, that's a powerful thing that we get to do. This is a generational change. He's the core of this. He keeps this engine running, and without Mark May, I don't know where we would be.
If you come here, it's gonna be awesome. Like you gonna love it. Like you gonna grow.
I see them as my coaches, mentor, people I could talk to, trusted adults like that. I feel like it's working with somebody I trust and somebody that cares for me.
To see the kids from one side of town build a relationship with kids from the other side of town and come together for the love of people and the love of the game has been instrumental in change in our communities.
On the count of 3, I want everybody here to say unity. 1, 2, 3. Unity!
As we've seen, change is more than a vague concept. For so many NFL players, it means taking action, putting your time, resources, and platform to use in ways that transform communities. These are just a few of the many stories and just a few of the many lives that have been changed. And as the program grows, so will the impact. And this is only the beginning. Thank you for joining us.